Hey there, Sagittarius. Welcome to your reading for the week of March 30th. You have this Time to Go card and this All That Glitters card. So this Time to Go card is like my purgatory card in this deck. You know, this lady here is between worlds. You know, she's about to go through this doorway that's kind of hard to see in the background, but she has to set herself free. And you have the Eight of Swords right here. So definitely could be time for you to set yourself free, and this could be a situation that you thought was better than it actually is with this All That Glitters card. You know, that card says that all that glitters is not necessarily gold, but it's also not necessarily a bad card either, because it says, like, you know, if you're in a situation that isn't perfect, you can also fix it. Like, it's not, you know, it doesn't say, oh, you have to, like, leave this situation. I don't think that's what the reading is getting at. I think it's more, you know, it looks to me more like an improvement reading, like you are creating improvements. We even go to the Sun here, which is amazing, you know, and the Wheel of Fortune, which is also your card and amazing. So we see some good stuff here, but I feel, you know, that this really could be about some improvements that you could be making. We also see good love stuff here. You have the King and Queen of Wands down to the Lovers, so sure, if you want love, definitely could be a divine counterpart. You've been getting really good love stuff. Your opposite sign, Gemini, has been getting really good love stuff as well, and I always pay attention to that. When opposite signs get similar stuff, to me, it kind of says it's like a theme. You know, it's like something that could definitely be happening for you. So if you're looking for a connection, definitely could be a solid connection. The Queen of Wands wants you to move towards the Sun. She has this sunflower right here, and it's pointing towards the Sun. It's pointing towards love, joy, peace, happiness, you know, all the good words with the Sun card. So, you know, anything that makes you feel like that would be good. She also is willing to learn as she goes. Again, I think the important thing I always say about her is that she doesn't know, like, where she's going necessarily. She's not sure how she's going to accomplish what she wants to accomplish, but she trusts that she's smart and that she can figure things out as she moves forward. And the Knight of Wands should also be giving you confidence here, because the Knight of Wands is the true builder in the tarot. If he doesn't know how to do something like overcome an obstacle, he'll build something to overcome it. You have the Eight of Swords, a lot of Eight of Swords energy this week. So, you know, the Eight of Swords can represent only seeing one way to solve a problem when there are many. So we just have to stay open to solutions with the Eight of Swords, and that's how we can set ourselves free with this card. So I would definitely recommend staying open and, you know, kind of like realizing that there's more than one way to solve any problem that you're experiencing. You know, she just has to take her blindfold off, and she will see that there are no swords in front of her. So if you're dealing with any obstacles, or if you're not sure what to do with that Time to Go card, you know, this could say it's time to, like, really look at what you're dealing with and to, you know, find another solution. You have the Eight of Pentacles, which is really good. You know, the Eight of Pentacles can be material success on the horizon. But sometimes I feel the Eight of Pentacles is saying you've already done a bunch of work. You know, he already has done a bunch of work here. It's right in front of him. And he only has one more pentacle to complete, and then he will get his reward. So I kind of feel it's like a time, even with the Wheel of Fortune at the end. You know, the Wheel of Fortune can represent something coming back around. So, you know, it could say that you've already done a bunch of work on something in your life, and now this week you could finally be getting the rewards. And again, kind of like a perfect time for that. We just had the Mercury retrograde ended in Pisces recently. We have all these planets have changed signs, and next month Uranus changes sign. So it's like we're ending a bunch of cycles all at once, basically. And, you know, could be a time for rewards. With the Queen of Wands, you have the Death card. Again, everybody's had the Death card as well this week, and which is kind of funny, but, you know, could be a lot of changes, like I just said. The Death card, we also have the Sun coming up between the two pillars that are on the moon here, and this can represent entering into a time of clarity. The whole entire month of March was all about clarity. You know, like all the readings I did had something about clarity, kind of. And again, we're at the end, the retrograde's over, so we're in the shadow, but still, you know, I think that one of the changes we could all be experiencing is getting better answers. On top of that, the Time to Go card is kind of like the light at the end of the tunnel. You know, it's like getting to the end of a long journey or something you've been dealing with. The Death card, this white rose on the banner here, represents the light at the end of the tunnel. So a lot of you could be like closing out a cycle, or just ending something you've been working on for a long time, or finally, you know, bringing something to a conclusion, which is great. You have with the Eight of Swords, you have the Magician. Yeah, the Magician wants you to use your tools. The Magician is pointing towards the Fool. The funny thing about the Magician is that the Fool is card number 0. The Magician is card number 1. I used to say all the time that I feel like sometimes like the Fool gets the Magician, and the Magician says you need to start. Like the Fool is starting. He is taking the leap of faith. But this might be the Fool's like first moment of hesitation on his long journey. He's about to go through the entire major arcana, the Fool, right? And so he gets the Magician and he's like, what tool should I be using for the job? He has mastery over all the suits in the tarot, the Magician does, right in front of him. And so if he bumps up against an obstacle and he's using his pentacles, like maybe he needs to use his swords, maybe he needs to be more creative with the wands, or maybe he needs to, put more of his emotion with the cups into a project. So, again, anything that you're stuck on, I would be thinking about like what tool do I need to use, or am I only using one tool to try to overcome this problem, and there might be another one that would be better. And yeah, it's just popping into my head. With the Eight of Pentacles, you have the Two of Swords. Yeah, Leo just had these two together, and I said to them that I look at the Eight of Swords and the Two of Swords as very similar. They're not the same, obviously, but they're kind of similar in some ways. She's thinking that she only has two options, this or that, but she has a third option behind her. She needs to take her blindfold off and see that new option. So, there could be a very simple solution to any blockages you're experiencing right now, Sagittarius. With the Two of Swords, we have to, put down the swords. She's trying to protect her heart from something, but sometimes I do think when we try to protect our heart, we actually end up getting hurt in the first place, right? It's like, I hear from people all the time about, like, all the things they're going to make a new partner do in a relationship to prevent being hurt. But it's like usually those things, those hoops we make a new person jump through is exactly why they're going to leave us in the first place. No one wants to feel like a pony in a circus, right? So it's like no one wants to jump through a flaming hula hoop for you, right? And on top of that, you wouldn't even respect a person that does it. Again, it's like I've done so many readings of the years where a person's like, I'm going to make this person do this, this, and this. To prove to me. I'm like, yeah, but you wouldn't even like that person if they did those things to prove to you that they should be with you in the first place, because anyone who would do that has no respect for themselves. So it's like, I think these games are silly that we play, right? Because it's like you're trying to make something perfect that might not even be right in the first place. So, again, I think the Two of Swords is kind of like saying, put the swords down. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this Go Inward card. It says it is time to connect with your inner child. You have this Practice Freedom. It says release the weight of judgment today. It could be judging yourself as well with the Two of Swords, right? And so maybe that's like the fear of not being able to do something is the thing you have to release here. Great time for freedom. We have Uranus leaving Taurus in April, and again, Uranus and Taurus is all about freedom. Uranus is all about freedom in the first place. So, I think in Taurus, like it has been, when it leaves, that's when we really have to put into practice what we learned from that time. So a lot of you could be like trying to get more freedom in your life. The other thing I always think about is Saturn and Aries. I think Saturn and Aries has a lot more to do with time than people think. I've been saying to other people as well that I think with Saturn and Aries, we will all want more time. We might try to buy time, which is an option with Saturn and Aries. It's like if you have a business, you can hire employees, right? That is buying time. We have AI now, right? Regardless of how you feel about it, it's here to stay. So, I tell people all the time, I am not a big fan of AI at all. But what I would say is it's at the same time, it's still just a tool that we can use. So it's like, yeah, you can not like it, and I don't like it, but at the same time, there are things that I use it for because it saves time, right? And so again, I think that we have to kind of like balance those things out. That's the thing with Uranus and Gemini is that, it's like things are not good or bad during Uranus and Gemini, which is like a hard thing for, I think, most people to wrap their head around. It's like how we see it. And, it's the other thing I would say is like most of the problems are going to be solved because we had Neptune leaving Pisces. Just to give you a good example, I would be, or I don't know if this is an example, I'm just saying, it would be 1,000 times worse, I think, if we had Neptune and Pisces right now. Like, when AI is really becoming popular. I think it's good that we had Neptune in Pisces when it basically was created, because I think it kind of did this. It basically took the mask off, whether you realize it or not. So, we will probably, hopefully, I'm crossing my fingers here, hope that they will solve a lot of the problems that are being created, basically, right? So there you go. You have the King of Wands, the Fool, and the Four of Wands. Definitely could be love. You could be attracting a very bold, assertive person, a very confident person. Could be another fire sign. Could be any sign. Could just be a very bold, assertive person just in general that's coming in for you here, which would be great. Could also be you needing to set yourself free. The Four of Wands can be marriage, but the Four of Wands is also freedom. You have the Fool. I think it's no mistake that the Fool is coming up after the Magician, even though technically, if we're going in order, the Fool comes up before the Magician, because like I said, it's like I think you're discovering the tool that's necessary to take the leap of faith, to move forward, right? And so I feel pretty good about this Fool card. You have that card that says release the weight of judgment today, or whatever it said, release the weight of judgment. It didn't say today, but I would say today, right? The Fool, he is taking the risk of looking like a fool. People in his life are like, hey, you're a fool for taking this leap of faith. But he knows more. He doesn't care what people think. So he's not worried about judgment. You have the Four of Wands. Again, love looks amazing, like I said, so definitely could be marriage. The Four of Wands, we have to complete something and celebrate on the other side. Now, a lot of people had this message during the month of March. Eight of Pentacles and Four of Wands came up a lot during the month of March. And I was saying to people that I felt like this retrograde was a good one for finishing something that you haven't finished. So if you have a project, a business, an idea, anything that you want to finish, I think you still have time. Even though Mercury is direct now, it doesn't really matter. I think you still have time to conclude something and cross that finish line and finish it and have the celebration. These people are celebrating on the other side. And so, like I said, it could be a good time to do that for you. With the King of Wands, you have the Hermit. Yeah, it could be like a person who's like in a little bit of hermit mode. Whenever I get stuff like this, it's like, I think this is a good thing, I want to say. But it's like sometimes I think we meet a person who's like a little bit more withdrawn, but they have to like warm up, And so you might be meeting a person where it's like at first maybe you think they're a little bit of a hermit, but maybe as you get to know them, they kind of like warm up. And they, are more open, more of a King of Wands type person. So this also, I think when we meet a person like this, where we have like the King of Wands as the card underneath the clarifier, it can say that this person might present themselves as a hermit. And so when you meet them, you might think they're shy or, something like that. But like as you get to know them, they're like more outgoing, more fun, all that other good stuff. With the Fool, you have the Temperance card. Temperance is like cause and effect. It is also your card. Again, these readings have been all about you, Sagittarius, for weeks now. So both of your cards are here again. It can be a card of patience, but it's also a card that says it's time to like take that leap of faith with the Fool and go down this path and claim your crown. This is the path to glory. But the Temperance card, he's trying to make this perfect when he could just get started. So, no perfectionism right now. I would just get started on whatever you're working on. With the Four Wands, you have the Moon. We go from the Moon to the Sun, which I definitely prefer in readings. I do not like the other way around. Going from the Moon to the Sun says you are entering into a time of clarity, which we talked about a little bit at the beginning. So you definitely seem to me like you're getting either clarity or you're getting to that light at the end of the tunnel, like we were talking about on the Death card, and I feel this is good. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, here you go. You have this Libra card. It says new love on it. It says new romantic relationship is unfolding that will be deeply meaningful to you. You have this orbiting space. It says something or someone is orbiting you, wanting to make its presence known. There you go. So definitely could be a person that you already know or that's already in your energy field or whatever you want to call it, Sag. So if you want love, looks amazing. Could be a Libra. You have the Sun, the Knight of Wands, and the Hangman. The Sun is the best card in the deck, of course, makes the whole entire reading more positive. The sun is your attention. So we have the Queen of Wands, and she has the sunflower pointing towards the sun. It basically says move towards your attention, like whatever you can't stop thinking about or whatever you keep thinking about during the day. It could be like an idea or a goal that you want to achieve or something that you want to manifest. And I feel that making something your focus is going to be really, really helpful for you, Libra, or here, Sag. Yes, I know you're Sagittarius, but I just said Libra. My brain can't do that. But anyway, Sagittarius, I think you need to move towards the sun. The other thing is I would keep things stupid simple here, Sag, because this baby is carrying this big banner, and it's meant to look like something that's very heavy, but he is carrying it very easily. So the sun itself can represent needing to make things, to allow things to be like simple and easy and flowy and all that other stuff. So keep it simple. You have the Knight of Wands, which I think is again the perfect card for you, Sagittarius. Definitely a very adventurous energy, which is good for you. Again, he is excited to explore a new mystery in his life. He has these 3 pyramids right here, which represent mystery. So I feel a lot of you, there could be a new mystery coming in for you. Could even be a person that's like a little bit mysterious. It's like maybe you see them as a hermit, but as you get to know them, they become very interesting, right? And the Knight of Wands just wants you to like go on the adventure. And even the sun is kind of saying that to me. It's like saying if you're getting into a connection, like don't attach too much to it. Just see how it goes. I think being in that space will just make it go a lot better. I do think it is also an amazing time for you to go on adventures, especially next month when Uranus moves into Gemini. I've been saying this to you for months, getting you ready for this energy, Sag. So any adventures like that you can go on, this could include learning new skills from the comfort of your own home. As I always say, you don't have to go anywhere. It could just be being where you are. I think that's enough, right? But the other thing I would say is, my big thing about, this is a little bit of a rant, but my thing about tarot and astrology is I think it's just kind of a tool of personal discovery. It's just showing you energy that exists. I'm a big fan of not letting the universe pick for me. And what I mean by that is like when something like this comes up, I go out and I look for an adventure. Like I look for something to do. Because if you don't, it's like sometimes the universe picks for you, right? Which might not be as fun as something that you pick on your own. So I would pick something to get interested in, like not even just right now, but I would say for the next like 7 years or whenever 2033 is, however many years away that is, 6 years now, whatever. I would pick something and make it a focus. You have the Hangman. The Hangman is about new perspectives. He's hanging from the tree of knowledge and wisdom. His head is glowing. He's gained enlightenment. I feel pretty good about this Hangman. If you've been stuck on pause or if you've been feeling like you're stuck on something, I feel that a lot of you could really be setting yourself free with the Hangman. So I feel pretty good about that. With the Sun, you have the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles is about resourcefulness and tapping into your resources. Starting in like 2022, somewhere around there, the Queen of Pentacles started coming up a lot in readings. And we are definitely in a time of resourcefulness. Again, I've been warning people about this since 2016, that we had Neptune in Pisces. Neptune in Pisces rules anything that flows. We call it currency, right? So money flows. That's how we talk about it. I think we're going to see major changes in money over the coming years. We already kind of have. And, again, I wouldn't be worried about it, but I would pay attention to it and pay attention to your finances. With the Knight of Wands, you have the 4 Cups. I think you need to finish something, Sag, with that 8 of Pentacles. Something that has been left unfinished, basically. The 4 Cups, he's tried to do something 3 times and he's failed. And now he's getting another opportunity with that 4th cup to try again. So I kind of just get that feeling here. It's saying you need to finish something or see something through all the way to the end. With the Hangman, you have the 5 of Wands. 5 of Wands can be like conflict, competition. Again, I love this card right now with Uranus going to Gemini because competition will be good if you pay attention, right? Everybody's going to be doing the same thing. And actually also because of Neptune and Aries. Neptune and Aries, I think everybody's going to be looking for a savior. So everybody is going to be, like if you have competition in work, it's like everybody's going to be looking for one person to have all the answers. And everybody's going to start doing the same thing. This is amazing. If you watch this channel, because I'm telling you what to do. You need to study what everybody else is doing, but then go the other direction. Just do what people are not doing. Go the opposite way. Try to stand out. Try, as I say, you and Gemini, your motto should be to stick out like a sore thumb. You're going to get a lot of criticism, so you have to turn that off, right? But if you do that, I'm telling you right now, you will reach new heights that you can't even imagine. So again, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but this is why I talk about it, because I think people need to do it because you will stand out. Next, you have this obligations card. It says you have some prior contracts or commitments, 8 of Pentacles, that still need to be fulfilled before you can completely move on to the next stage of your journey. Yes. You have this envision card. It says, do you know exactly what you are wanting, and are you acting consistently towards achieving it? Maintain a clear vision of what you are calling forth, and you will be unstoppable, Sagittarius. So love it. Definitely could be a little bit of unstoppable energy. For years, you've been getting things with me about obligations, so I do feel it would be a good time to remove any obligations that you don't need from your life, which I would do. You have the Wheel of Fortune, the 4 of Pentacles, and the Lovers. Wheel of Fortune is you, showing up in a strong position. Also great for changing your fortunes. So especially in the good stuff, it can definitely say that your fortunes are changing at this time. You have the 4 of Pentacles. 4 of Pentacles in the good stuff is like a solid foundation. Normally the 4 of Pentacles represents holding on too tightly to something, but in the good stuff, it could say you're starting off on the right foot, which is kind of what I feel here. And especially in love, you could really be getting into something that really starts from an already solid foundation. It could also just be 2 solid people. It's like 2 people who have worked on themselves, and obviously that's a great place to start. So I kind of just see the 4 of Pentacles as the starting, it's like the starting line, the starting foundation of something. It could also be something you're working on, or something that you're creating here with the Knight of Wands, like some sort of adventure. Like you already have a good understanding of it, is what I feel. You have the Lovers, which could be love, of course. So if you want a connection, this could be a new lover entering into your life, which would be great. Also, Gemini. So again, I think that a lot of you working with that Gemini energy is going to be critically important. I'm going to keep reminding you forever. So sorry, I know a lot of people say, you always say that. And it's like, well, yeah. It's like, I just don't make things up. It's like, yeah, sure, I could make a bunch of stuff up here with this reading, but it is what it is. It is the dominant energy for the next 6 years of your life. So I'm going to keep saying it, and working with it will just, it's the thing that will make you the most successful. With the Wheel of Fortune, you have the 7 of Swords. 7 of Swords is like lying, cheating, stealing, but in the good stuff, it can represent approaching something from a different perspective. Again, speaking of Gemini, he is being tactical. And with Uranus and Gemini, it's all about tactical thinking. Instead of, charging towards something head on, is there another way to accomplish your goals, dreams, wishes, whatever it is. With the 4 of Pentacles, I can't get away from it. Everybody's had the Tower this week. So, I don't know, could be a global Tower moment this week, but it's also coming up in the good stuff for you. So, and you're actually like the 2nd or 3rd person to have it in the good stuff. So, this could be a good thing. It could say you're avoiding a Tower moment, or you're ending a Tower moment you've already had. I said the 4 of Pentacles was your foundation. The Tower gets reduced down to its foundation, then we rebuild stronger. So, again, I think really you're starting from a solid foundation. With the Lovers, you have the Ace of Wands. Yep, definitely could be a very passionate connection, for sure. We have the King and Queen of Wands. We have the Lovers in this card. So the Ace of Wands is definitely a very passionate energy in connections. And so, it's out with the old, in with the new, but it's usually something like very exciting, something that will fulfill you, something that will make you happy. So really, this could be very good for love. If you're starting anything new, in general, I would say the Ace of Wands is a good card. You have this Grapes card. It says time to go out and have fun. Yeah, very happy energy in this reading. Knight of Wands, Sun, the Queen of Wands, King of Wands, you know what I mean? So this reading definitely wants you to party here, Sag. You have this December card in this basket. It says recognition, reward for merit. So yes, I think fire signs have an amazing opportunity to really stand out in work. And, this between now and December, whatever you're working on, you could be getting a lot of attention or recognition for what you're doing. You have this diamond card. It says you will be receiving or giving a precious gift. So could be like a gift from the universe finally, Sag. I think you deserve it. I think you are definitely one of the number one signs that has had, like, I don't know that I would say your readings are the most challenging. I just think you have been consistently challenged, like one after another. So definitely could be a gift. You have this elephant. It says a long journey, either physical or mental, will leave you wiser at the end. Yes, we were talking about adventure this entire time. You also have the seahorse. It says family matters on it. I'm pretty sure you get a lot of stuff with me about family. And so but again, I think you're making corrections to family based off your past like 4 or 5 years. So a lot of you could be like healing family issues and, all that other good stuff. But this looks amazing, Sag. Probably one of the best readings this week for sure. So thank you for being here. Make sure to leave a comment, and definitely enjoy your week.